Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this isn't a video I was really planning on filming because it hadn't happened to me, but since I'm just getting over it, I figured I'd kind of share my story and do a little story time video, my first one. Not such a great one, it's kind of a TMI at times one, but I don't know, I think it's kind of interesting to me and I just want to look back on it and be like, thank God that that hasn't happened to me. Hopefully it won't happen again in a really long time, because the last time this happened to me was like 12, 13 years ago. So I've been working at a daycare for about a month now. And obviously with daycares, like, you know you're gonna get sick at some point. I figured it would just be like a cold or something, but I ended up getting stomach virus and it totally came on like out of nowhere. So today's Sunday. This is like my first time leaving the house since Thursday, which is when it happened. So Thursday was already a rough day because honestly I hit like 40 minutes of traffic on my way to work, which normally on like, you know, I drive to work during the morning rush hour here. I start at 8:30, so I usually leave the house at like 8. And I'm able to get there by like 8:20, 8:25, so I punch in a few minutes early. So I left the house my normal time. I left at like 8:04, and I didn't punch in until 8:44 because there was a really bad accident. Like, I'm like 3 exits away from where I work, like, so it ended up taking me like 44 minutes to get to work. So it was already like starting off to be like not the best day, but I was like, whatever, like, you know, stuff happens, like I can't control that. I told my manager, like, I'm sorry, there was a really bad accident. She was like fine with it, like it was whatever. So I work 8:30 to 5:30. So I worked my normal day. This week I was in infants. So I was with the infants all day. I took my break from 12 to 1. So I come back from my break, everything's fine. Now, all I had eaten that day, I had these Belvita breakfast bars that I've been eating, which I'm gonna stop eating just because, like, you know, I'm like, oh, they're healthy, but like they're not. It's just like carbs and sugar, like it's not the best for me. I just have to eat like some Cheerios or something bland, and better for me in general. So I had those for breakfast at like 7:30, and then for lunch we had mac and cheese and hot dogs the night before. I didn't bring in any hot dogs, I just brought in some mac and cheese. So I had a little bit of that and like some water. So I come back from my break at 1. Around like 2 o'clock I started feeling like gas pains, and I was like, okay, like, you know, it's just some gas, whatever, like it was fine. But then I noticed I had to like use the bathroom, like go to the bathroom. But it wasn't super bad, and I was like, I'll just wait till I get home. Like, it didn't feel like I had to go really bad. But then around 3, I was like, no, like, I need to go now. And basically, I only had 4 kids, so I was in ratio, so I was the only teacher in the room. So I had to call, I ended up calling my manager, who sits like right outside the room at the front desk. And she came in so I could go use the bathroom. So I used the bathroom, it was fine. It was like soft, but it wasn't like diarrhea. I know, like I said, this video is gonna kind of be TMI, but like I need to explain the full story of what happened. So it was like normal, whatever. I was like, okay, hopefully I'll feel better now, because usually, you know, after you go, you feel better. Still wasn't feeling 100%. Like my face started feeling really hot. I felt weak and kind of lightheaded, like I just was not feeling 100%. And I was like, at like 3:30, I popped my head out and I asked my manager, like, hey, would I be able to leave early today? And she was like, maybe, like, what, like, when did you need to leave by? And I was like soon, like, and she was like, all right, well, I'm working on the 5:30s, which means she was working to get people who were supposed to leave at 5:30 to, you know, possibly leave sooner, and I'm one of the 5:30 people. So she was like, I'll put you at the top, and, you know, if we have someone that can come in for you, like, we'll do that. And I was like, okay, because, like, I really just, like, am not feeling good at all right now. And she's like, all right, like, I'll try to get someone in there, like, as soon as possible, which, like, wasn't a guarantee that someone was gonna come in, and I was just like not feeling good at all, like it was getting worse. So basically what ended up happening is I ended up leaving at like 4, so about 40 minutes after I asked if I could leave. So I had 2 kids left, so I just put them next door, and a couple of her kids were leaving, so she was going to be in ratio. I started like closing out my room, like cleaning up and everything, and then my manager popped her head in and was like, you can leave, like it's fine, I'll clean up. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, like it's no problem. And I was like, I'm so sorry, like I don't know like what happened, like ever since like 2 o'clock I just started like not feeling well, and it's just like progressively getting worse. And she was like, it's okay, like everyone gets sick, like it's fine. So I drove home. I don't even know how I got home because I thought I was gonna like throw up everywhere, like not even kidding. So I get home, I come inside, I sit on my bed for a minute, and like I feel it. So I go to the bathroom, I kind of dry heave the first time, then the second time I throw up. Not a lot, but like you could tell there was mac and cheese in it, like I saw it, I kind of opened my eyes and saw it. So I was like, alright, but I felt better. So I was like, okay, maybe I just needed to throw up. Like, you know that feeling when like you don't want to throw up, but like you know if you do, like you'll feel better? So I was feeling that. So I was like, okay, like hopefully that was it. Like I just had to like throw up. No, that was like just the beginning. And I'm a person, like, I know I'm sure nobody likes throwing up, but like I like hate it. Like that's one of my fears, is like throwing up. I don't know why, I've just never liked it. And the last time I had thrown up was almost 3 years ago now, but before that it was like 10 years prior to that. So I literally went from like 10 years old to 20 without throwing up because I hated so bad. Like whenever I felt like I was going to, I would just like, I don't even know, but it would always just end up passing. But then I threw up when I was 20, and now I'm 22, and I had like a whole thing of it, a whole night of it. So I just hate it really bad. So I threw up, and then I was like, alright, I feel better. Then I think I ended up having more diarrhea, maybe. I'm not sure. It's like kind of fuzzy at this point, even though it's only like 3 days later. Like, I don't know. But so I went back in my room, and my boyfriend gave me, first he gave me Gas X. Basically all the stuff he gave me I just ended up throwing up. Like he gave me Gas X, I ended up throwing that up. He gave me Imodium, I ended up throwing that up. Like it was just terrible. Like I could not even keep like liquids down. So this part is like extremely embarrassing, and I can't believe I'm even saying this out loud. So I went to go throw up again because I felt it again. So this next time I threw up 3 times, and as I threw up, I'm not joking you, I shit my pants. And I have never shit my pants except when I was a baby and I was in diapers, so obviously, but like I've never shit my pants, and it was the most embarrassing thing that like I've ever done, because literally like the pressure that gets put on you when you throw up to like bring the stuff back up, and like the diarrhea at that point was like literally like water, like literally pee, but coming out of your like asshole. So it was just, it just came out. So I threw up 3 times, and like I shit myself like every time I threw up, and it was disgusting. So immediately after I went into the shower, I like undressed, threw out like my underwear, my pants, which I'm really sad because those were like my favorite sleeping pants, and my unicorn socks that I just recently got, which I'm also really sad about. But obviously like not even washing that could like fix that. Like it was disgusting. So my boyfriend like took really good care of me. Like he threw them out. He like kind of hosed me off, and then I like took a shower and like cleaned myself off. Then every time after that, when I felt like I was gonna throw up, I would like sit on the toilet and end up like shitting and throwing up at the same time. I know TMI, but like this is like real life. Like So it was bad. So my brother was there and like my boyfriend was there and my mom had come home and they were just telling her like I was really bad, like you need to like come home and like we need to take her to the hospital. Cause I couldn't even keep down water. Like I would drink water and I would just throw it up. Then I was just dry heaving and it was just like bile. It was horrible. So she's like, all right, let's take you to urgent care. Even though like I need to go to the hospital. Like urgent care isn't gonna do shit for me right now. But my mom was looking for like kind of a cheaper route, but hopefully like maybe get me better. She had known someone who went there who was able to get an IV. So she was like, let's see if we could just go there. And they're like right around the corner. So we went there. They basically diagnosed it as like, you know, some fancy term, but basically just like the stomach flu. And basically I just had to kind of like deal with it. Like they did an EKG because my heart rate was really high. But the EKG, I mean, it showed that my heart rate was high, but like there were really no other problems than that. Oh my god, there's a spider in my mom's car. Okay, sorry. That was terrible. So they didn't give me fluids, they just did like an EKG and just like looked at me and they were like, yeah, like I was super pale. I ended up like having diarrhea there. Then they were like, basically like, you need to go to the hospital. So like we went to the hospital. So the hospital we go to is like St. Catherine's. It's over in Smithtown here on Long Island. So like not too far at all. But it is like the worst friggin' hospital. Like whenever I need to go to a hospital, if I have something like this happen to me ever again, like we're going to Stony Brook and it's a lot better of a hospital. It's the hospital I was born at, so like it is a little bit further, but like they treat you a hell of a lot better and do a hell of a lot more than St. Catherine's did. Like I'm just over it basically. So we got there at like 8 o'clock around PM. I was like waiting for them to call me and then I was like, alright, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I went in there, had more diarrhea, was dry heaving, and I ended up throwing up some bile. And honestly, dry heaving is worse than throwing up because it's like the shit's trying to come up, but like nothing's coming out. Like it doesn't even make you feel better. So I was basically over it at that point. Then they called me back, you know, took my temperature. They took my temperature at urgent care. I was at like 100. By the time we got to the hospital, I was back to like 98. So I don't know. Then they took me back in a room. The doctor came, he told me they were gonna take a urine sample to make sure I wasn't pregnant. What else? They were gonna do a CAT scan to make sure it wasn't like something to do with my colon because I've had my gallbladder removed. That's another story. So I guess like, you know, you can have problems with that, so they wanted to make sure like nothing was wrong with my colon. What else did they do? They did blood work. Yeah, so just like a bunch of tests, honestly. But they gave me anti-nausea medicine, which was really good because I didn't throw up. Like it worked right away. They gave me a whole bag of fluids, which they should have gave me more because I was so dehydrated at that point, but like, you know, whatever. They gave me this contrast to drink for the CAT scan, so I drank that, and then I had to drink like a bunch of water, which was great because I was able to keep it down, and my mouth was so dry and gross, so like I needed it so bad. So I had that. So then at like 10:45 they did the CAT scan. It came back fine, and they basically just diagnosed me with like a bowel infection pretty much, and basically like I just had to pass it. They gave me anti-nausea medicine because that's like a side effect, and I was like, honestly, like I'll have diarrhea, like I don't care, but like being like throwing up, like I can't. Like I was so done with throwing up, like I couldn't even keep anything down, like nothing was even coming out. It was horrible. So they gave me some anti-nausea medicine. They said they could give me some medicine for the diarrhea, but honestly, like the medicine might make it worse. So they didn't prescribe anything. They didn't prescribe any antibiotics. So they basically did like this $1 million workup to just be like, oh, you have diarrhea, like you just have to like deal with it basically. So I was pretty much like over it. So we got home. around midnight, and as I'm walking in the door, I start throwing up. I threw up like 3 or 4 more times, and I'm like, this is horrible. Like, I just got home from the hospital, and I had drinking some water on the way home, and like, I threw up again. So I took a shower, I took 2 Imodium that my boyfriend gave me, and I didn't throw those up, so I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. Then I started kind of feeling nauseous, and I didn't have the anti-nausea medicine yet, because all the pharmacies were closed because it was like midnight, so I had to wait till the morning to get it, but thankfully my boyfriend had some anti-nausea medicine that he had got prescription for, so I took one of those, and then I fell asleep, woke up at 7 a.m. on Friday, called out of work, because I was like, fuck this, like, I can't. Fell back asleep at like 8, I had already had diarrhea twice from like 7 to 8. Fell back asleep at 8, got up at like 12 or 1. I had my anti-nausea medicine because at that point, Joey, my boyfriend, had gotten it for me. Had that. Had some toast. He got me some wild cherry Pedialyte, which was good. I was drinking water, and I pretty much just had toast, and I don't even think I ate anything else that day. But I slept like half the day. Like, I slept until like 12 or 1, and then I napped from like 4 to 8, and then I went to bed at like 10. So like, I pretty much slept half the day, but in like the 7 hours I was awake, I had diarrhea 12 times. And I was like, I don't care if I have diarrhea, but like, after having it like 12 times in a 7-hour period, I was pretty much like over it. So then yesterday, Saturday, I was fine like all day. Like, I wasn't feeling too hot. I was kind of feeling like lightheaded and weak and shit. But like overall, like, I wasn't having diarrhea or vomiting. So I was doing a lot better. And then like last night I ended up having diarrhea. So it's just been rough. So now today's Sunday. This is my first time leaving the house since Thursday. And I'm at Target, of course, because like, where else would I go? But I just needed to get out of the house, and like, I had to come to Target anyway, so I was like, I'll just come today. But I haven't had diarrhea so far today. I think it's around like 1 p.m. and I've been up since like 9:30. I haven't eaten anything all day yet. I'm probably not gonna eat until dinner, and we're just having like chicken, so that's pretty like safe for me to eat. So yeah, and now I think my brother's getting what I had, because he threw up this morning and he's having diarrhea. His isn't nearly as bad as mine, but like, you know, it still sucks, like, to any degree that you have like vomiting and diarrhea. So I think I'm like pretty much at the end of it. Everyone's saying you pretty much just have to let the diarrhea like run its course. As long as I don't start vomiting, like, I'll be okay. But it's just so crazy how these things can like sneak up on you, and I was having like a totally normal day on Thursday, and then just like all of a sudden, like, total like switch. So yeah, it was pretty terrible, but I'm nearing the end of it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be going to work tomorrow, because like, honestly, I'm fine. Like, you know, if I have to use the bathroom, I could just call someone and go, but like, I don't think I'm gonna be going like twice an hour, which I was on Friday, because yesterday I only went like twice, and it was like at night, and today I haven't gone at all yet, so we'll see. But it's honestly just crazy, and everybody, like, stay safe out there. I mean, I know working in a daycare, like I said, like, this stuff happens, like, kids get sick, teachers get sick, like, you just get sick. Like, it's inevitable when you're working around like kids that little, which the earliest age kids start there is like 6 weeks. So like, that's little, and they go till they're about like 4 or 5, you know, right before kindergarten. So obviously, like, it's inevitable. I was gonna get sick at some point, but it's crazy that I've only been there for a month and I already got this like crazy stomach flu or whatever. So I'm glad it's pretty much over. I'm gonna go run into Target because I want to just get this over with and come home. And I will see you guys next time. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.